Okay, Nelly, you want me to start?
Yeah, because those are your words at the very beginning.
Okay, sometimes I forget whose words are who. When Nelly and I get together and talk, we just write things down. But that's part of what we'll be talking about today, though we don't have a title yet for this talk. Uh, we are, in my words, a describe your experience school of Buddhism. And I say it this way, I describe us this way, as compared to what we've inherited, which is a more hierarchical system of concentration practices. And we don't see hierarchy that way. We see that different things are possible, different ways of concentration, and different benefits with different states of mind that come from meditation practice.
And we don't often even use the word concentration, though that is the word that's commonly used. And I don't use it because it reminds me of being in elementary school and being forced to concentrate. And I don't think we're talking about something even akin to that. Maybe it's akin, but it's very different too. It's like when sort of things slow and settle. Um, what's the word we usually use, Linda? I'm grasping for it. It's not settled. It's another word.
Oh,
Anyway,
gosh.
I might it might come to me and it might not. Collected,
Collected,
collected. Yes,
collected.
when the mind
Right.
is collected, and
Yeah.
you know, that just is a good descriptive word for me.
Right. Well, and it's in line with our approach of a more receptive, allowing approach. We allow ourselves to do that, we collect certain things and we land on certain things. And this kind of inner collectedness is something that we encourage and our practice supports. We actually put that into practice by giving short Dharma talks where they talk about a few different topics or ideas that some of those will land and others won't. And it's not the typical way of concentration is one pointed, one topic, one task, one one type of method of practice. We give you several points and let you choose from there.
Or choose something or something else, or maybe
Or
not even be able to
choose.
choose. Maybe
Right.
that what comes up chooses the sense of it chooses you.
Right.
Though I think that the place where, quote, concentration in our practice becomes more explicitly developed is in the journaling time.
Right.
Then you really have to focus in what did happen,
Mm-hmm.
because that's another
Mm-hmm.
word, focus.
Yeah, and we brought in other supports to that of, free form writing, where we actually say, here's a topic and you write about it, let it rip, so to speak. So yeah, I would say the add-on of reflection is more of where our concentration lies or collectedness lies.
Right. Or even it's in the program, so to speak. The process that we do almost all the time.
Yeah.
So, oh, I'm just looking at our document. Okay. So
This,
in the more mainstream teachings, um, it said that when the hindrances fall off, um, that's when this ability to for more collectedness, for more concentration develops. But we don't really we don't want to go that direction now. That's kind of odd to say it and then say, well, we're not going to say it, but that's what I just did. Um, but because we don't subscribe to a the usual hierarchical direction of development in meditation. We're not big on hierarchy in general, and certainly not in how things should develop in meditation.
so often you won't hear a traditional list of hindrances. And I say traditional as in most of the hindrances, there are typically five, they're really hindrances to one pointed concentration. So they don't apply in the same way. It's not like we never talk about them or we don't see them in other ways.
Right.
It's just that list is a little bit outdated for our practice.
Right. And then it's back to the describe your experience school of uh, Buddhism, which is like rather than, saying, oh, I was in the hindrances of, for example, desire. Um, no, let's just talk about how that went and what you wanted and how, you
Right,
know. So we're
right,
talking about it, but we're
right,
not labeling it as a hindrance.
right.
And I'm not sure that the way we understand the development of concentration or collectedness, it needs to be a hindrance.
Right. Right. But what we're doing in common, this seems like something that most meditation practices will talk about, is there is a state that we start to feel more gathered, more collected, more steady, yet we're not fully absorbed. One of Nelly's examples is like a calm lake before it's fully still. There's still things going on. You can still see in it, but it may be slower and maybe look a little bit different than when you first sat down to
And
meditate.
yeah, and so, we're not so inclined to like grasp onto things or push things away, what's coming up for us in our meditation. In other words, we're more easily receptive. It's kind of a more easeful, natural state of mind that develops. And over time, um, and Linda and I spoke about this earlier this morning, this comes more easily. And that's part of where the reflection and journaling comes in. When we can journal it and know about it, it kind of invites it, I think. I don't know. What do you
Yeah,
think about that, Linda?
I think it does because we've accessing certain states where our thinking becomes less verbal and less discursive, and more intuitive. And then that flavors the way we reflect upon something. So I think that they color each other, and this kind of thinking that we value, and that is a development when it's just a little softer, just a little more collected, a little more steady. And this becomes an easy access for us when we meditate with reflective meditation over time.
And I'm going to repeat those words. Thinking becomes less verbal. It's not that there's no thinking, right? It's not that, and sometimes there is no thinking, okay?
Mhm.
But we're talking at a state where it's softer, as you said, and perhaps a little more intuitive, or well, people experience it differently. I experience it as I see an image sometimes, or not. I don't even see an image. I An image is conjured up without so much verb
Mm.
imagery, and but it says a whole bunch. That one
Yeah,
image sort of.
yeah, yeah, yeah. There's a lot in it. It holds. It's almost like a label or like a marker. They call it sometimes, a mark,
Mm,
um, that it holds so much more meaning
right,
for us.
right,
Yeah,
and clarity. There's often a clarity in
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
So thinking then is in a general sense can become a little more accurate, a little less reactive, and most importantly, more attuned to causes and conditions.
Right. Our friend, our friend, friendly teaching of conditionality, and that really that's what we're trying to have people become more aware of, and develop a capacity, because it will help basically with being able to catch nuances, like subtle ethical nuances, or just a different shade of feeling of, or intricate connections become more apparent. Like these are things that we could gloss over in our just regular way of thinking about something. So we really have access to a more subtle, refined way of thinking.
And so well, not sum it up, that's the wrong word, but to sort of put it in other words, um, our practice is so based on awareness of causes and conditions. And there is this state of mind, or it's not one state of mind, but something develops in meditation where it really does become more possible to become more attuned to causes and conditions without all that striving and, oh, I should find this condition or find this cause. No, it's just an attunement. That's different.
Yeah, and we both really liked this ability that we see that comes forth, is that we have the ability to see how things actually work rather than how we wished they worked. And this feels really different than seeing things as they really are. This is seeing how things are connected, how they work, how they come to be. Nelly, say something.
Oh, well, just to backstep a moment, that's how it's commonly translated, is that when we have wisdom, we see things as they actually,
See things as they really are.
as they really are, which I don't know, we bristle a bit about, because it seems like we just prefer how things actually work, because it's things are in flux. It's not that they are boom, but they're in flux. But how do they work? How do these causes and conditions work together? And of course, it really does cut right through that desire is a hindrance, because how we wished they worked is a description of desire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.